What's up, everybody? Well, I got another Asus G15 Advantage gameplay video for you guys today, and today we're gonna have another look at the medium, but this time at 1440p. We'll just go through all the settings, and then do my settings at the end with a little camera, finishing up the whole ordeal. So, nothing else to really say, honestly. Don't need to really talk about the specs of the laptop. Everybody well knows about that, so let's not waste any more time and get this thing hooked up to the capture computer so we can start getting some gameplay. Well, first look at some settings, then get some gameplay. Right. Let's start turning 1440p off now. So we got everything unlimited here. Full screen. So let's go look at the advanced settings now. We're just going to start off on high. So let's scroll down to the bottom here. And alright. And with that, let's get into the game. Well, here we are at high on 1440p, and if we're this close to 60, we're probably going to drop under 60 at various times just in this apartment alone, which means we'll be going through all the settings just like we did at 1080p. Didn't really have to at 1080p, just felt like it. This is a pretty interesting game. Yep, we're in the 40s now. High 40s, but still 40s, which is definitely far away from 60. Although closer to 60 than 30. And still no audio, unfortunately. This game is whacked out, and I didn't know that it didn't have any audio until I got to 1080p, and then I think I noticed. But then I thought everything was good once I went over to it, but it seems like you have to go over to that every single time you go to the settings. Well, that's kind of annoying, but whatever. Again, we're just going to have to deal with not having sound through all this. Well, besides me. Drop down to the 40s and 50s in her room with all these lights. Okay, well, now let's go feed that cat. If Macy's around, she's probably like, what's all this talking about feeding cat? I haven't gotten shit. What is this guy talking about? Well, she has already been fed. Well, no, she got fed breakfast, but it's about time for dinner. Not quite yet, though. That's more close to 7:30. And it is only 6. All right, and with that, it looks like we can go walk out onto the porch area here and move on to the next graphics setting. And all right, let's go move on now. Well, all right, now it's time for some medium. So let's scroll through the medium settings right quick here. And all right, already at the bottom. So now let's go hop into the game and see how medium does. Well, now here we go with some medium graphics settings. So again, let's walk around the apartment, see what's what, see if we can stay over 60 the whole time, just on medium. Nope, we're under 60, at least in this room, which means we probably will also drop under 60 once we get into her bedroom, once we get this damn cuff. All right, now let's go in here and see how it acts in here. Yep, dropped under 60 here too. Must be the lighting that does it. And it's not like we have ray tracing on yet. That's probably going to be a shit show at 1440p. Well, we'll have to wait till we get there. That's going to be after low, so it's not like it's going to take us long to get there. All right. Now we're in the red room here. And then I guess we can go hop on out here into the outside area. And then move on to the next graphics setting. Speaking of which, it's time to get onto that said graphics setting. All right, here's some low graphics settings now. When it seems like for whatever reason we have audio already. So that's cool. Don't know if it'll stay for when we get into the game, but I guess we'll find out. Anyway, let's go and hop into the game now and see how low does. Well, now here we go. We got low settings now. So let's just walk around. So far it looks like we're getting like competitive FPS numbers of FPS here, so that's pretty cool. So we should be able to stay above 60 at low, but I don't think we need to leave the game completely at 60. Or, no, I mean low, because I just want 60 FPS, at least. Because I don't think we need quite this much FPS in a game like this, but that's just me. I'd love to have this much if we were playing like Call of Duty. But not in a game like this. It's not really necessary. It seems to be very, very slow-paced, kind of, what do you want to call it? Sherlock Holmesy mystery kind of game. I don't even know if there's going to be any combat in this game. I have no idea what to expect. And it looks like, yeah, there was no audio. We got audio in the settings menu for whatever reason, but not here. All right, now the cat has been fed. It means we can go to our red room, which doesn't even look red right now. You can barely even tell. But all right, let's walk on out here. And now, why don't we go ahead and move on to some ray tracing. Well, now here we go. We're going to do some ray tracing on Ultra. So I just want to show you that real quick. That's on that screen. So now let's go and look at the rest of the settings. Figure we might as well run the rest of the game maxed out. That's usually when people want to do ray tracing as extra eye candy. And all right, now we've reached the bottom. So now let's go see how ray tracing does. Honestly, it's probably not going to do well. Well, all right. Now we got some ray tracing going on. So let's just walk around again. That cat always seems to scare her every time. But yeah, we're already under 30 FPS. Man, we're already down to 25 in here. Jeez. Yeah, ray tracing is no joke at the higher resolutions. It was borderline playable at 1080p, but I wouldn't call this very playable. But that's just me. Now we can get that cat his food, of course. We can't feed him the keys. We already tried that on the Steam Deck. He doesn't eat keys. Now the red room looks more correct again. We're getting a horrible FPS, but at least it looks correct. So yeah, as usual, ray tracing is a no-go on the laptop. That generally happens. AMD is not the best at it, and even NVIDIA it takes a bunch of FPS away, and I usually have to turn it off on most of my systems. Unless I want to settle for subpar, under 60 FPS times, and no, it's not me. I don't like that. Anyway, on to some FSR now. All right, now we're going to start some FSR. It's just FSR 1.0. We're going to start off on Ultra Quality. And I've questioned before why Ultra is capitalized and nothing else in the settings is besides AMD and FSR. Just kind of an interesting thing I noticed. Doesn't matter at all, but anyway, now that we reached the bottom, let's go hop into the game and see how FSR does. There is no ray tracing either, I turned that shit off. Alright guys, let's go ahead and get some FSR Ultra Quality in. This is 1.0, so we have the Ultra Quality setting. Still no sound, unfortunately. I wish that wasn't the case, but this game is weird, and I found out later on, way too late, that if you go over to the audio tab real quick, you get your audio back. Shouldn't have to do that in a game, but that's kind of weird. Steam Deck didn't have this problem, but the Steam Deck didn't run it the best in the world. Didn't run it horribly. 30 to 40ish FPS with decent-ish settings, but that's at 720p. This is now 1440, and that's a lot harder to run. Well, not anymore because we're on FSR, but you know what I mean. All right, we got that guy's awesome tie clip. All right, it is cat feeding time. So let's go feed that cat. All right, we're in the camera room now, or more like photo printing room. All right, out into the hallway we go. And then with that, we can now move on to the next FSR setting. Now we're going to just do FSR Quality. So let's cruise through. We're still got the game maxed out, except for no FSR. That just isn't going to work at all. That would have given us terrible FPS no matter what. I'm pretty sure, anyway. Unless you're okay with under 60 FPS, but I think it'd still go into the 20s. But anyway, let's go move on. All right, FSR Quality now. So let's walk around our apartment once more. Still doesn't look absolutely terrible yet, but you can definitely tell something's going on with FSR 1.0. You know, it just looks a lot softer. And then they took away the, whatchamacallit. There was some other setting that said it was supposed to fix that, and it seems like it disappears when you turn this on, so it must just be for the other effects and whatnot. I wish this wasn't so blasted hard to get. There we go. I don't know if I'm just being dumb with the way I'm positioning myself in these rooms, but you would think it'd be a lot easier to do that in a game that is literally just about doing this kind of stuff, at least as far as I can tell. Obviously, I'm only at the beginning of the game, so I don't want to sit there and make absolute comments yet, but that's just what it seems like. It seems kind of like a slow-paced kind of mystery ghost kind of game. And she also seems to really like butterflies. There you go, kitty. Have some food. And now that you're all good, we got to get to the camera room, because that's part of the benchmark route. All right. And with that, it is now time to move on to the next FSR setting. Well, now, FSR, we're going to do balanced. So, still, on high and all that. And besides ray tracing, we turn that shit off. This laptop almost never likes that shit. It's very, very rare I can turn that on in a game and still get what I consider a playable FPS. Anyway, though, that is the bottom, so let's get back into the game now. Well, all right, FSR balanced now. FPS definitely seems a little higher now, but it's not night and day, but definitely another like 5, 6. on average, I would estimate. I wish this one would tell me like 1% lows and averages. I turned on the settings like I did on my NVIDIA computers in the Afterburner statistics tuner thing, but it doesn't seem to work. Still, I gotta learn how to use those too. There seems to be a button I'm thinking that like resets them. Because a lot of times I'll have this on at the beginning in like a menu, and then it'll get like 1,000 FPS in the menu, and then it'll say your max FPS is 1,000. Though truth be told, I don't even care that much about max. I'd rather just care about 1% lows and average, and the current, and then frame time. I think that would be plenty. Now I used to use FPS Monitor, which does do all of that, I believe, but that one's harder to read and it's more weird. I could probably mess with it, but it doesn't look as clean as this. I might have to get that for my main computer, though, because my main computer still, I was hoping they would update this, but I still don't get clock speeds in my Afterburner, just percentages. So I might have to switch to that if they're not going to upgrade anymore. I heard there was some weird problems going on with the creator of it, so there might not even be any more updates to Afterburner. We'll see. That'd be a shame. I like that software. It may not be the best, but I like it. I'm used to it. Well, now it's time for the last FSR. So now we're going to do FSR Performance before getting to my settings. So let's go screw through these settings real quick. All right, now let's get into the game. Well, here we go with FSR Performance. And as you can tell, it does not look very good. And we're not really getting that much more FPS than we were on Balanced either, so I do not really see the point, but it is what it is. We'll just get our 2 minutes or so of footage and move on to my settings then. But first, before we do anything, we got to get our little tie clip. If I can ever select it on the thing here. Come on, make X pop up, damn you. There you go. Let's do it another way. Another way indeed. We got to push that clock away. Fuck you, clock. We need that tie. Well, tie clip. It's not a tie. The way I say it makes it sound like it's a full-fledged fucking tie, and it's just not. It's just the clip to a tie. Alright, now let's go into her old room. Okay, as usual, since it's part of our benchmark, let's feed that cat. Actually, that reminds me, after I'm done with this particular clip, I should go and feed my cat and put my food in the oven too. Alright, and now, let's go ahead and get on to my settings. Alright, so now we're going to do my settings. No ray tracing or anything. Just wanted to show you guys that real quick. And unfortunately, since I want to have some high texture qualities and whatnot, we're going to use Ultra Quality FSR. I don't like using it, but that got me the FPS I wanted. With decent-ish settings. So, why don't we go ahead and hop on into the game and see how it does. Alright guys, let's do my settings now. So let's just walk around the apartment real quick, and then we'll switch to camera and go a little farther into the game. I mean, get out of this apartment, I mean. But first, we'll do what I usually do, come into this room. Come on, there we go.
have to make that X pop up. It's not always so willing to pop up, it seems. Still no sound, though. Hopefully I will figure that out once we get to the camera recorded portion again. Yeah, I cannot wait till I have like a monitor hooked into my capture card so I can at least have sound and whatnot. All right, it's cat feeding time. And I already put my food in the oven and fed my real life cat, so we don't even have to worry about that. And then she should not care about me talking about feeding a fake cat. I swear before she kept giving me this stink eye like, what the fuck do you mean it's food time? You said that like 20 fucking times. Where in the hell is my food? What other cat is there to possibly feed? Like the one in the game. It's part of the benchmark. All right, now it's camera room time. I almost did a double take and went right back out of the room there. Sometimes you gotta be ready for the freaking changes in scenery. It'll completely, if you have the thing going one way, you'll go right back in the room you just were if you keep pushing the way you're pushing on the controller. Anyway, though, let's go out here, and now I would say it's time for us to go and move on to some camera now. All right, guys, let's get ourselves some camera recorded gameplay now. So we'll just walk around the house a little bit here. Then we'll go down to the, whatchamacallit, morgue area or whatever. Funeral home, whatever she calls it. We're still using the same my settings as before. If I... Oh.
Okay. Let's do this the other way.
I noticed there's no sound again this time. Like, what the fuck? So that's a weird little bug. Might just because I keep plugging it into the frickin' capture computer and then coming over here and plugging it back in, and I might get confused for this particular game, but I've never had that happen before.
Time to say goodbye.
That's the first time I've had that go into the menu to get sound. In this game, I had to do it in 1080p too, completely forgot about it.
In my old room.
And I was like, why do I have no sound again?
So many memories.
And this time I didn't bother quitting. Last time I quitted and like restarted the computer and did all this shit and it wasn't working. You have to go to the audio tab or it'll never give you audio. Pretty random, but it is what it is. Pretty easy fix.
Looks nourishing.
Let's feed our cat.
Here you go. What's your face? Glad to see you're still kicking around.
To the camera room.
I can't believe it's all still here. Oh, Jack. Interesting.
Spinning book of awesomeness. God, that gets me so turned around. There we go. Alright, let's head on out, I guess.
We lived upstairs from Jack's funeral home. It wasn't as weird as it sounds. Besides, if it wasn't for that, I may never have learned to use my powers. Jack taught me to accept my condition. Of all my foster parents, he was the only one who saw it as a gift and not a curse. Jack's in the prep room. Here it is.
Alright, I guess let's go on down in here. Still kind of hard to see if I'm honest, but it is what it is in certain scenarios, but that's probably the whole point of the game. Plus I have to have these lights on, which is probably affecting it too.
Not sure if I'm ready for this.
Alright, now this time I remember we can't do anything without his tie. I'm not seeing a tie anywhere. Maybe it's one of those things where you can't do anything until you pull him out.
Hey, Jack.
Alright, now we gotta find his... Oh, there it is. It's right there in front of me. So, yep. We can probably do that. Yep, and there he goes. And then you tie. Yep.
Snazzy. You wouldn't have it any other way.
There we go.
I didn't expect this to be easy. I guess I didn't know what to expect. When things get personal, it...
But, alrighty then. I think that's plenty of camera gameplay, so why don't we go wrap this video on up now?
Well, alright guys, that is a wrap for the medium, at least on the Asus G15 Advantage at 1440p. We still got 2 desktops to do, but it did pretty good. We had to use FSR though, to get a decent, at least 60 plus frame rate. Now for people who don't care about that, you could probably just max the game out without ray tracing and you'll be fine. It seemed to only drop under 30 when we included ray tracing, and then it dropped all the way down into the low 20s. So that's not usually playable for anybody, but hey, you saw how it ran my video. If that's okay for you, boom, you're good to go. But I would use my settings. I think those were a pretty good little medium, pun intended. But in any case, that is all I got for you guys for this particular video. I sure hope you guys enjoyed the video, because I sure as hell enjoyed making it for you guys. And until the next video, peace out, guys.